So what we call Nam Smarana Sikwa, Nama means the name. And whose name? Bien sûr, the name of God. So Nam Smarana, as I was saying, means Nama means the name of whom, of course, the name of God. Smarana means, le mot Smarana means to remember, right? That is to remember the name of God. How do we remember the name of God? It can be in many ways. It can be thinking about God. Ou bien, dans nos lectures, c'est pas nous pouvons faire, c'est pas Om Jai Shri Ram and all. Or we can say in words also. We are doing Mala Jap, okay, as you have in your syllabus. Maybe we can be doing Japam with a recitation of his name. Or maybe we are doing Dhyanam with a meditation. Or it can be in terms of bhajan, you know, singing devotional songs and all. So all these are actually forms of Nama Smarana, right? So what the Sai Baba has said is that God has million names, of course. As we say, Ekam Sad Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. God is one, but we call him by various names, right? So to do Nam Smarana, we need to select any name, right? We select any name, any form, which is appealing to us, which we like, okay? You need to pray this particular form of God. That does not happen. It depends on the person, right? So every day when you awaken to the call of brightening east, recite the name, meditate on the form, have the name and form as your companion, the name and form with a God. Make God our companion, our guide, our guardian throughout the waking hours. Tant nous awakened, right? Nous lever, nous faire tout notre travail and all. We need to think of God constantly, right? When you retire for the night, means when we are going to sleep, offer grateful homage to God. That's why we say before sleeping, we need to thank God, to say prayers, to say before sleeping. Parce que thanks to God, we have been able to have a nice day, or even it was bad, but at least worse things did not happen to us, right? So this is one form of Nama Smarana. From morning when we wake up, we take the name of God throughout the day. Of course, it's that we need to do our job, of course, but whenever possible, free time, we think of God, we take the name of God. And also when we are going to retire at night to sleep, we offer grateful homage to him, right? Now, what is the repetition of name for? When we say we are doing Japam, what is it for, right? Japam, li fait bien important dans la vie. Japam, c'est recitation of the name of God. In anyone's life, any religion, it is very important. Why? Because when we constantly take the name of God, and say bien sûr, it leads to moksha. It leads to salvation, right? That is the main aim of life. Bien sûr, we have other material aims. Even when we take the name of God, we do get benefits in our material life. This is for sure. We will get benefits even in our material life. But the ultimate aim of everything will be salvation. That is moksha, right? And it's like having a life preserver to hang on. When we take the name of God, it's like he is preserving us. He is sustaining us. He is protecting us. So actually that name of God is protecting us, right? It's also said in the, in the Ram रामचरित मानस राम से बड़ा राम का नाम. That is, the name of Ram is even greater than Ram himself. So Pusar, you know, when Hanuman, when they were building the bridge to Lanka, Hanuman could find a way out to make that bridge. Then Hanuman said, we need to write the name of Ram on each stone. And eventually, stone to the name of Ram, and the stones, the one horse, whatever, they were floating, right? They were all floating, Zupan Kamsi, Kule, and all, and they were able to make the bridge, right? So the name of God, what you call Japa or Japam, is bien important. It can be in written also, what we call as Likhit Japam. That is in written, okay? And say we take the name of God, say the word, right? Or the next can be is like likhit, that is nu, we write down, okay, the name of God. We continue that. Jai Shri Ram on a page, we continue to write that. That is also a possibility of japam, right? So I continue. Now, all the greatest sages consider that the repetition of the name of the Lord is the greatest sadhana. Sadhana, vidya, prayer, mood of worship, right? Salasi sadhana, meditation is sadhana. That is the effort that we put in to reach moksha is sadhana, right? So all the great sages, d'après eux, the recitation of the name of God is the greatest sadhana possible. You can refer this to bhakti as well. The easiest way to God is bhakti. Day by day, by developing love and surrender to God, it annihilates the ego and our illusion. So when we take the name of God, we love God, we surrender to God, all our ego, all our illusions, all the bad things, they are all eliminated, right? So Sai Baba states that in this era of Kali Yuga, the repetition of the name is enough. To get moksha, it is enough, right? Repetition of the name, which means japam, it is also a form of bhakti. So in the present age, that is in Kali Yuga, it is described in the scriptures as very conducive to liberation. D'après les scriptures, Kali Yuga est un yuga bien facile pour gagner libération. Bon, facile in the sense, conducive means whatever effort you are going to put in to get liberation, we can reach liberation. It's easier. In Kali Yuga, it's easier compared to the Satyug, Treta Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga. Parce que in the other yugs, Satyuga, Treta, and Dwapar, to be able to get liberation, they had to meditate for days, for months, for years, and for births also. They were doing meditation to get liberation. But today in this Kali Yuga, the way to liberation is just bhakti, is just Nam Smarana, taking the name of God and all, right? Vyas, so it is Vedyas, we can say Vyas. Himself knew this. He knew that, and he has also taught it. He said that, Vyas has said that, how fortunate are those destined to be born in the Kali Yuga. Those who are born in Kali Yuga, they are fortunate because it is easy to win the grace of God by Nam Smarana in Kali Yuga. So we need to consider us quite lucky for that. Right. The name of God, if recited with love and faith, has the power to bring upon the eager aspirant the grace of God. It's quand on dit dans Kali-yuga nous fait nam smarana to get liberation, yes, but that does not mean just comment dire nous pouvons receive the name of God, but without having the proper intention. Là, il pas correct. So if we do that, the nam smarana with love, with faith, right, in God, with full determination, we can definitely get the grace of God and thus crossing the ocean of birth and death, that is liberation, right?
Miss.
The tongue must be sanctified by the repetition of the name of God. Sanctify veut dire purify the tongue by the repetition of the name of God. It can be used for, it has to be used for sweet expressions, that is our tongue. We need to say good words, sweet words, which will spread joy, which will spread contentment. Remember God in whom you move, the God who makes you move, the God who is all this vast universe. That is aussi an teaching from the Isha Upanishad. We need to remember the God who actually makes us function. If there was no God, no one would be able to function. The whole universe would not be functioning. So that's why he is the greatest. So we need to take his name. Again, you select your form, your name. We can't impose that on anyone, right? Keep the name in your tongue and before your mental eye, right? Mental eye veut dire, qui nous appelle, ou qu'on va appeler third eye, ou qu'on va appeler comme si l'esprit also, that God is always there, right? That is what is called Japa Sahita Dhyanam. Sahita which are together. Japa, c'est name, Dhyanam, meditation. En même temps, nous pouvons prendre nos bon Dieu, en même temps, nous pouvons faire Dhyanam. I'm saying the word of the name of God with my mouth, ça c'est Japa. Et en même temps, dans mon esprit, in my mental eye, there is God. This is Dhyanam. This is in itself meditation. So when you select one name and form for Smarana, do not talk ill of other names and forms. Fait comme si, I give one example, if I pray Shiv, I will tell you, Shiv is the best deity to pray. You should not pray Vishnu. Vishnu is bad. Vishnu is this and that, right? We have people doing that, but we should not. Parce que ekam sadvipra bahuda vadanti. There is only one God. And if a person is loving God, is praying God in a particular form, let the person do that. He is free to do that. Il peut compter dans sa forme là parce qu'il y a certain qualities qu'il est relié avec certain form of God. We can't impose on people, right? That is the best thing in Hinduism, in the Indian philosophy, that there is no imposing here to suivre sa chemin as you are taught to. No, this is not Hinduism. Hinduism has various ways, various paths, where a person is free to choose the path, right? So the Lord has thousands of names. You can add here the verse, what I said, Ekam Sadvipra. If ever you're writing about it, you can add the verse as well. Prayer. Prayer must come from the depth of feeling, what you see from inside, the inner feeling. Prayers should be like this. Par contre, là, ou peut prendre le name of Vishnu, no. It should be that inner feeling. Parce que the Lord looks for that. The Lord looks for bhava. Bhava, which is the inner feeling, the emotions. God does not look for bahya. Bahya, which is outside appearance, outward appearance, right? God does not look for that, but he looks for the inside, the beauty inside, the bhava inside, right? The Karmakand and Upasana Kand of the Veda insist on the worship of God and devotion to him. Karmakand, c'est like one rituals, tout ça, c'est qu'il nous fait. Upasana Kand, doing recitation of God, name of God, doing meditation, tout ça, c'est Upasana Kand, right? So the Veda insists for the worship of God and for his devotion, yes, yeah, right? As the first detachment, enter from Nam into the discipline of Nam Smarana. The first detachment, comme si c'est the first way to learn to detach from the material world. Ce qui nous a fait en premier, c'est Nam Smarana. Taking the name of God, we learn. Ce n'est pas une affaire facile. Qui en même temps, nous peut prendre le nom de bon Dieu et en même temps, nous avons good thoughts, right? So we can start detachment through Nama Smarana. It does not need any special time or extra allotment of time. No special time. We can do Nama Smarana whenever, wherever we want. When we are bathing, it is said when we take bath, it's good to recite Gayatri Mantra. When we are eating, before eating, we should do prayers. When we are walking, we are sitting, anything, anywhere, we can take the name of God. Exactly to take the name of God. Yes, it is said that we fair prayers during Sandhya. Sandhya, which is the merging of time. C'est pas si c'est le matin ou même avant que la nuit là a terminé and the sun is rising. Midi, merging of time, midi, where morning is ending, afternoon is starting. Et 6 heures tantôt, que afternoon fini, night commence. This is the merging of time, what we call Sandhya. It is said that it is very good to worship during this time, bien bon. But we can pray anytime. That is the movement facility into inverted comma, right? That we can worship anytime, anywhere, any place. Even we are sitting in the toilet, also we can take the name of God anywhere. Parce que God is everywhere, right? The gunas have to be transcended. The gunas, as you know, sattva, rajas, and tamas, right? The gunas have to be transcended. That is known as sattva, rajas, and tamas. All these, they vary. To les uno penazis sattva, to les uno penazis tamas, they vary. But it varies, if I take my example to explain that, it varies a lot pour moi. It fluctuates a lot. In a day, les capable and 50 fois, it fluctuate. At times I feel good, at times I feel nervous, at times I feel angry, at times I'm feeling lazy. In a day, when I have beaucoup moments like this. So there are so many fluctuations happening. Mais ça même ça mal fluctuations là, nous sommes capables d'arrêter. Bon, pas arrêter, mais diminuer. Si arrêter, c'est-à-dire momo, right? But nous diminuer comment? From tamas gun, nous essayons éviter comme si tamas gun predominating in us. Donc nous prenons rajas gun beaucoup. Et rajas gun tous les temps n'est pas bien sûr bon, surtout when we are angry. This is rajas gun. So we move from tamas to rajas. Maintenant nous travaillons là. I should stop being angry. I should stop being, c'est pas overexcited and all. And then I'm developing sattva gun plus beaucoup dans moi. Pas veut dire pena rajas, pena tamas. Ina li me li bien peu. But I'm working on sattva gun, right? So, c'est ça, the gunas have to be transcended. And how to do that? At times we say it's very difficult and all, but the Kumanindia, the first step is to do Nam Smarana. Parce que, let's say, if we are angry right now, and you just think of the name of God, automatiquement the anger should go. Parce que quand nous pensons bon Dieu, nous pas qu'à avoir anger en même temps, il pas moche, right? So this is about the sattva, the gunas I explained. Donc nous faisons ça nam smarana to be able to overcome the gunas. So lead me from darkness to light. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya. I guess you know that, no? Asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Right? Quand nous peut dire là-dedans, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. From tamas, lead me to jyotir. That is from light, from darkness, lead me to light. Tamas, lead me to jyoti. Jyoti se lipu refer to sattva gun, right?
Yeah.
Place the illumining flame of the name of the Lord on the tongue, right? Nilabush, Mazia, the doorstep. Nirakas, the doorstep. And the light will drive out the darkness from both and outside. Quand vous ouvrez la porte le matin, you have the sunlight coming in. But
Yes.
pareil, nous la bouche, right? When we open that mouth, it should be light is coming in from the mouth, in the mouth, and darkness coming out from the mouth. That is, we are taking only goodness in us. Et quand nous prenons goodness in us, nous prenons light dans nous, qui normalement, nous façon parler will be, of course, good, of course, sweet words, right? So it's again possible through now, through japam. The name of the Lord must be recited with the feeling of wonder, humility, reverence. C'est-à-dire the intention behind taking the name of the Lord est bien important, right? You may not have any doubt as to how small names such as Ram, Krishna, or Sai can take you across the sea of samsara. You know, like Shakespeare said, what's in a name, right? But a name is really powerful. A name, this is really powerful. As we said in the Ramcharitmanas, the name of God is greater than God himself, right? So when we take his name, we are liberated. We are liberated from the cycle of birth and death, only through the name of God, right? You are judged by sadhana. But you're not judged by people, judged by God, right? We are judged by God based on our sadhana we do, right? Not on the number of temples we have visited. Mas é que bom pour judge nous qui bon travail nous fait et non. Il pas pour que combien temple nous aller, combien coucou banane offering nous donner. Non. It will see the intention behind. It will see the sadhana. That is God. We'll see the sadhana, not the quantity. The quality is important in devotion. Pareil, comme the example of Shabri, of Kevat, of Hanuman. Do not count the number of times you have repeated the name. Pas ça qui est important. Est-ce qu'on réussit faire 10 là dans un jour? That is not important. Même si on réussit faire un seul là job dans un jour, what was the intention? What was the feeling? That is more important than the number of times. The Lord will respond only when you call him from the depth of your feelings. You can take here the example of Draupadi. Draupadi, quand maintenant tu peux faire disrobing of Draupadi, Draupadi was taking the name of Krishna. But when she was taking the name of Krishna, she was saying, Dwarka Mai, the one who lives in Dwarka, the one who lives here, the one who does this thing and all. Krishna même ce nom, mais différent meaning. But then, at a point of time, Lin create Krishna, Lin say, Krishna, you reside in my heart. You come to rescue me. Hridaya Vasi, you come to rescue me. Then Krishna tout de suite came there, of course, to help her. That is the depth of the feeling important, right? God, et aussi bien sûr, what we learn from this Draupadi scene, God is inside us. God is everywhere. God is inside us. It's good to visit temples. C'est pas qu'il n'y a pas besoin de visit temples. We need to. Parce que quand on a des temples, quelquefois, il fait nous realize certain things. In a dimunal pilgrimage, that is also important. These are sacred places where in our good energies, so we need to go. But the depth of the feeling is plus important at the end of the day. Même si nous dans le temple là, the feeling, the right feeling should be there, right? So all these through Nama Smarana or Japam. Do not calculate the length of time we take the name of God. Maman fait désir temps, toi tu fais, c'est pas, let's say tu dis moi tu fais 5 temps. That is not important. Important is the the feelings, the emotions. Calculate rather the length of time you have wasted away from that contact and repent. You know, most of the time, come on, we spend our time watching TV, going out with friends, doing this and that, which are not so important in a spiritual life. Fair to Sala, we have to admit it. So Sai is saying that we need to calculate that time in payadi, right? Instead of taking the name of God, we have been out doing certain things qui n'est pas important. Have that name ever on your tongue, ever, and in your thoughts, and you can brave any calamity. You can take the example of Prahalad. Prahalad was always taking the name of God. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, always taking the name of God. When whatever the situation, he was taking the name of God. Even when he was being punished for that, he was taking the name of God and fire could not burn him, right? So at any point of time, if we take the name of God with full faith, God will come to rescue us. So the name of God is bien important, right? And here's the example of Sita. Sita got courage, got strength to live in Lanka. How? Because she was always taking the name of Ram, right? Injustice and discontent are spreading everywhere due to this one fault of man. Qui nous faut to faire ça? Saying one thing and doing quite the opposite. Par exemple, let's say, you know, to parler sa cause menti. It's not good, but I am the one who tell lies a lot, right? So we say something, but we do the opposite of it. C'est pour ça there is injustice and discontentment in the society, in the country, or in the world, right? So the tongue and hand go in different directions. Nous pouvons dire quelque chose, mais nous pouvons faire une autre affaire. Nous pouvons faire le contraire. Man has to set himself right and correct his food, his recreation, and method of spending leisure, as well as his habits of thoughts. Ça veut dire, les nous besoin changer nous-mêmes, nous change nos façons de manger, nous change nos manger, nous change nos façons de faire recreation. Faire comment dire recreation, veut dire you go somewhere for entertainment, right? Let's say nous allons à la mer. This is recreation. Mais quand nous allons à la mer, nous finissons qu'est-ce la bière, right? So, one example. So we need to change that. Quand on à la mer, we sit with family, we talk, we have a good time, we swim, which is good for the body, we walk, we enjoy nature, we enjoy the water, the sea, the view. We should change that, right? And the method of spending leisure time, of course, in our beaucoup de monde de façon leisure is really not good. And also the habits of thought. Mais comment nous pouvons faire tout ça là? We have to do this and that, yes, but how to do that? Through Nam Smarana. Parce que quand on pense bon Dieu, quand on prend nom bon Dieu, il automatique qui dit là, il pas pour faire quelque chose de mauvais. Most of the time, fait comment dire, oui, nous pour faire un mauvais travail. Jamais nous parlons dans puja ghar, que nous faisons la prière, nous faisons mauvais travail là-bas. Parce que, oh, there is a picture of God. God is there, right? We don't do it. Nous parlons d'autre place, nous pouvons faire, mais seulement nous tend to forget that. Even let's say right now I'm sitting in my dining room. There's no picture of God here. Maybe I can think that, okay, I have something bad to do, but it's not fairly easy. But no, even God is here. God is watching me. God is everywhere, right? Well, so the point how to do these things, c'est nama smarana, japa. Kav continue now.
Oui.
Dharma purifies the mind. So it's a dharma, righteousness, it purifies the mind and leads us to God. And create a test for the name and form of God. When you love the name and form, for example, Krishna, you will naturally respect and obey the command of Krishna. And maybe whatever is there in the Bhagavad Gita, we will follow it. Sa déité qui nous contente là, nous apprécions là, tout ce qu'il nous dit, nous pouvons essayer de mettre en pratique. Maybe not 100%, we are not perfect, but we will be trying to do that. So have the name on the tongue and form in the eye, par exemple, japa sahita dhyanam, right? The demon called unending desire will fly away. Unending desire, no, l'esprit pensée, I want this, I want that. The desire which is unending. Through nama smarana, desires will fly away. Unending desire. Certain desire, bon. You want happiness for your family, this is good, and we need to do it. You want to get moksha, this is still a desire, this is good, right? Mais ça va un unending desire qui nous est là. When you get in la case, it keeps on going on. So through Nam Smarana, it's possible to stop that. Ram Nam or any other name must be constant as breathing. Breathing, tous les temps, we breathe. So even Ram Nam should be like this. This practice is essential. You know, we never know when we are going to die. And as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, what we think at the time of death, this is what we become in the next life. And Krishna in précisé dans Bhagavad Gita, if we think of a dog while I'm dying, my last thought is the dog, the next birth I become the dog, right? So if I'm thinking bad or I'm saying bad things, right? So if I'm thinking bad things, in the next birth. But if I'm taking the name of God when I'm dying, I will definitely get a very good birth in the next life. Very good birth, mo peut dire capable du monde like a sage in a very good family, someone very spiritual, ou bien I can get liberation. Tout dépend, right? So that is why the name of God should be constant as breathing, because we don't know when is our last moment. The scriptures say, repeat the name of the Lord, keeping his glory always before the mind. Let's say we are singing something, like, let's say we're singing something from the Ramcharitmanas. Nous peut dire que Ram was born in Ayodhya, Ram had the brothers, Ram loved his brothers, etc. Let's say this is an example. This is a song. I'm singing it. Good. But ce qu'il dit à nous, nous besoin aussi faire, comment dire, ça film-là peut jouer dans nous l'esprit. How Ram was. Nous pouvons personify Ram, comment nous trouver, bien sûr, comment nous envie, right? Nous pouvons faire comme si Ram is this way, Ram in fait tout ça. So we are not just taking the name of God, mais nous pouvons faire ça comme si vidéo là ou the films way dans nos mind, right? This is again bhakti. And bien sûr, nama smarana. The world today is suffering from too much knowledge. Right? Virtue has not increased in proportion. Knowledge has increased. Beaucoup de monde in apprend, in get décret, in faire this and that. But pena virtue, pena goodness, pena balance finalement, right? Like we say, the end of education should be character. But it's not happening today si nous get le monde vraiment aujourd'hui. Education peut augmenter, oui, du monde peut apprendre, oui, mais vertu peut diminuer. So there is no balance, right? So the root cause of misery that is the root cause of misery in human society. We don't have this balance between knowledge and virtue. Of the two tires of the vehicle that man is riding, the tire of Brahman wheel is flat. Brahman wheel is flat. Comment dire, nous la vie, l'îlot de la roue. Right? Et la roue là, c'est Brahman. Et ça, même ça, la roue qui est plus important dans ça. And this one is flat. Pénalé là-dedans. Right? Means we are not believing in him. We are not practicing what he has said. Right? So finalement, with this flat tire, we won't go far. So if nous envie faire ça wheel là, sa tire là, vin normal, remplisse l'air bien dedans, vin normal. How to do that? How to pump it is by the name of God. L'air là qui nous peut amener sa balance là dans nous, la vie. En d'autres mots, whatever we learn, it should be put into practice so that it becomes a virtue. Right? Nam Smarana is the best means the best way, especially as we are in Kali Yuga. Only you do not really believe that it can cure you or save you. That is the tragedy. Souvent des fois, nous prenons confiance dans médecin plus, ou bien médecine plus, qui sur the name of God. Right? Most of the time, it is like this with us. But we forget that the name of God also can cure us. Right? People believe in the efficacy of only costly, brightly packed, widely published drugs. Drugs with urban medicine. Nous avons tendance et la confiance plus sur ça, instead of having that trust on the name of God. That is, here the point is the name of God. When we do japa, we are doing nama smarana. It can save our life. It can cue us, right? You have no time for reciting the name of the Lord, which is within you. You have time for club, for game, for shows and all, but we don't have time to worship or to take the name of God. It is a false excuse that we need time to do that. Parce que India, nous clairement, nous pouvons take the name of God, good nous été. Pas nécessairement in un lieu spécifique, nous bien assis dans mon pujakar to do that. No. Anytime, anywhere we can do. If we are such a busy person, when we are traveling, let's say we can do that, right? Face the truth and proceed towards the truth. Sometimes we need to change ourselves, finalement. When you tread the path of dharma, you will be drawn towards dharma, towards truth. That is why I have come personally. This is from what Sai Baba has said himself. I have come personally to tell you to carry on Nama Smarana. You know, God takes incarnation from time to time, especially when quand nous venons sans comprendre comment le dire. So he has come here to remind us of the Nama Smarana, the importance of Nama Smarana. Doing severe tapas was a great and rare achievement in those days. Ça veut dire, ban yug avant, they were doing severe tapas, great meditation. Now, today in the Kali Yuga, repeating the name of God is becoming as difficult as tapas. Parce que nous pas faire. Repeating the name of God is not difficult, but the fact that we are not doing it, it is becoming difficult. Hence, it is said that Smarana is enough. Smarana can lead us to the inner transformation, can lead us to moksha. Okay?
Yes.
This slide should not be reality deja out. Let me check. Yeah, here it is. So, right, so this is about Nama Smarana. You have any question?
Tell me